What is up, legends? It's Mark here. And we're live, baby. What's good? What's going on? I know what you're thinking. Where's the music? Well, we're doing this one backwards, all right? We're doing this one backwards. All right, there we go. The intro has been completed. What is up, legends? It's Mark here, and we're motherfucking live, baby. What's good? What's good? Blood pressure is rising. Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Draining every ounce of energy I have. But we're live, baby. What's up? All right, legends. In this live, I have a particular topic, as you can see the title of this live and on my screen. Join this live if you have ad depression. And if you're wondering what ad depression is essentially when you tie your general feeling of self-being to the performance of your ads, and then your ads start to perform like shit. So therefore, you start to feel like shit. And if you're an early stage entrepreneur, this is something that you experience very, very quickly. And then you very, very quickly understand that, hey, this is a terrible way for me to operate. And this is actually something that I put in my mindset video that I posted last week. If you haven't watched that, I genuinely think that's the best video I've ever put out. So go watch it. Also the longest video I've ever put out. But I genuinely think that the more that you attach your feelings of self-being to things that are outside of your control, the worse you're going to fucking feel. Like, you're going to feel pretty good on the days that you're doing well with your business, but on the very, very many days where you're not doing well and fires are, my shoulders look huge right now. This is crazy. Anyways, fires are burning, every which way, every direction. Then why, why even be an entrepreneur at that point? Because you're basically just making your life living fucking misery. And in this live, I'm going to show you how to combat that, because if you don't know how, it is just going to rob you of every ounce of pleasure that there is in this beautiful game that we get to play of entrepreneurship. Nobody wants that. Nobody. But before we get it started, let me know where you're listening in from today in the chat. Let's get it active, all right? I haven't been live for a minute. I want to see some activity, all right? Let me know where you're listening from in the world. What country, what city. Let's have some fun. All right, who we got today? Owen, what's up, bro? Astrolithic, what is up? We got who else? Seattle in the building. My man Studios Mio about to go get a pump. I just got a pump. That's probably why I called out my shoulders. And also I have crippling narcissism. But conversation for another time, you know? We got Ron in the building. Run it up, Nate. What's up? We got, goddamn. All right, I'm going to rapid fire these. Canada, Toronto, Texas, Austria, Cali. We got Derek for more plates, more dates. Just kidding. Germany. We got Alaska, Russia, Sweden, Netherlands, Germany, Croatia, Amsterdam, Spain, Germany, UT, Jersey, Sweden, Cali, Idaho, England, Dubai, Canada, Montreal, Israel, Seattle, Brazil, Cali, Vietnam, Sao Paulo, Sweden, Cali, Singapore, Finland. All right. That's good. Good work. Good work. All right, let's get into it. All right, I only have a little bit of time today, so I'm going to make this efficient. And I will keep an eye on the chat per usual, cunts, okay? So, like I said, I explained what ad depression is. Now let's talk about why ad depression is actually happening. Well, it's a funny thing when you get into entrepreneurship because you are so indoctrinated by social media, by YouTube, by, ironically, social media entrepreneurs about how amazing your life is when you're an entrepreneur. And the reality is, like, being an entrepreneur, it's you serving other people, right? Servant-based leadership. And that's not an easy job to do. If you want to lead people, if you want to lead a company, lead your team, even if your team is just you, it's a tough job. It's a tough job. And the funny thing is, specifically relating to ads, anytime you test something, just generally speaking, like testing roughly anything, 90% of the things that you are going to test are going to fail. Just as a general rule. This is coming from somebody who's been in the game for 7, going on 8 years in internet marketing. I've been running ads on Facebook since 2018. I've seen gurus come and go. I have seen Facebook go from super duper 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 strict to super duper duper hands off. You can basically run anything, fucking black hat, whatever the fuck, and you're totally fine. I've seen update after update. I've seen iOS 14. I've seen mandatory CBOs. Seen a lot. And honestly, there's people that have seen a lot more than me even. Like, I even think I'm a fucking noob in this game still. But the point is, still the majority of things, far majority of things that I'm testing are going to fail. And the thing that is always going to differentiate the people that are super duper successful from the people that are not is how committed they are to continue testing. I'll give you a perfect example. When I started out in just like general store drop shipping way back in the day. Because that was a thing. You could just like test product to product. It's like, all you need is that winning product, man. It's like you're fucking gambling. That's what it felt like. It felt like you were legitimately just gambling. What? Anyways, it was such a terrible ideology I was indoctrinated with. But I was like, hey, this is how the game works. Apparently, I just got to keep testing products. So I get into it. You know, I'm in college, going to school. Every time that I'm not in class or studying, I am working on my business. I'm testing products. I'm doing product research. At my peak, I was even getting up like 3 products in a single day to test them. The result of this strategy of mass testing products was 50 products tested, 0 winners. 50. 5-0. That means I tested product number 1, researched, wrote all the copy, built the ads, tested, failed. Product 2, I did all the research, wrote all the copy, created the ads, tested, failed. 50 times. 50 fucking times, dude. What the fuck? I wasn't that retarded. I promise you, I'm pretty retarded, but I wasn't that fucking retarded. I was just, like I said, indoctrinated with the wrong way of doing things. But the point here is that I still continued to test. I still continued to fucking go because I knew that the pain of my current situation was greater than the pain of staying where I was, right? I wanted to get out of my current situation more than I wanted to stay in it. That is the only time where you do dumb shit and test 50 fucking products without finding a winner. Now, some of the products, by the way, they generated a little bit of cash, right? Some of them generated, I don't know, a few $1,000s, maybe up to like 5K for a single product, but it was always like straddling the line of break even, profitability. Nothing was really working that well. And I made so many mistakes during this process. Obviously, 50 fucking products, Mark, you didn't even find a winner. I made so many mistakes, but one of the biggest mistakes that I made, and the reason why so many of you are still dealing with ad depression, is simply because you are emotionally attached. I've said this so many times before, but when it comes to spirituality, whatever you want to believe, I genuinely think in this context, it doesn't matter. God, universe, whatever. Attachment is not a good thing. If you are super duper attached to your results, to something outside of your control, mind you, you're just asking to be fucking let down, genuinely. And it's tough because you put in so much effort for these products. You do all the research. Sometimes that's like multiple hours worth of research. You build your foundational docs, you write all the copy, you make this amazing creative. Maybe a few days go by, maybe a week, maybe multiple weeks go by. You finally get that product up. Ads are live. You start spending. How can you not be emotionally attached? Well, it's a super backwards way to think, but I promise you, if you are emotionally attached, what's going to happen is you're going to make terrible decisions. You're going to be checking your ads like a fucking maniac, even though there's nowhere near statistically significant data. And you're just going to dig yourself into this fucking hole, and probably you're just going to end up fucking cutting the product when in reality you probably could have made some adjustments and actually like made it profitable. So it's a tough thing to do. Like, how can you pour all this effort into something and not be attached? Well, it's a skill like anything else. For the most part in this fucking world, it's a skill that you have to learn how to develop. Okay. In my video on mindset that I put out, I talked about this concept of Stoic sparring. If you know anything about Stoicism, one of the kind of central tenets is just dividing things into two columns, things that you can control, and then things that you can't control, things that you cannot control. Very simple, but very powerful exercise. Whatever you cannot control, you're going to put in this column over here. You're going to write it all down. You're going to get it out of your head. You're going to feel all the emotions that are associated with how frustrating those things are. Because by the way, you know what you can't control directly is how much money you make. You can't control it directly. If I wanted to make $1,000 in the next 5 minutes, let me give a better example. If I wanted to like test a new product and I wanted to get it to $1,000 a day on day one, can I directly control that? No. I can indirectly control it by having really good product, lander, creatives, etc. But at the end of the day, there is that element that's outside my control. So I have to let that go. All this stuff, the key is you fully feel it. You feel the emotion. You feel how frustrating it feels. Don't run from emotions. Like Stoicism is not hiding your emotions. It's not running from your emotions. It's feeling it and literally just asking yourself, is this something that serves me? And if it's not, you feel it and then you say, fuck off. You let the emotion go. And then everything that you can't control, this is where you actually prioritize and then start fucking executing. But the majority of the time, the things that really, really drive this ad depression is this fucking column right here. This shit. It's basically, hold on, I can't quite explain it yet. You'll get it. Hold on. So basically, if you do this, it'll solve all the problems, really. No, all the problems are right fucking here, okay? So just feel it, let it go. Simple. Very, very simple. Stop checking your ad account 47 times a fucking day when you're not going to do anything. You're not going to change anything. You're just going to go in there, get emotional, probably make emotional, bullshit ass decisions, and end up shooting yourself in the foot as a result of it, and then you just set yourself back. Okay? So this is the mental piece. This was about ad depression. This is the mental piece. Entrepreneurship is far majority a mental game. Eventually, you may be in this season right now where you're just taking L after L after L after L after L after L. What was that fucking I think it was like Marshawn Lynch when he was having that interview. You guys remember that? And he's like, just run through a motherfucker face over and over and over again. And over and over and over and over and over. That's basically what I'm trying to communicate here. You know what I mean? I think I got some of the best analogies, in the game, man. I'm not going to lie. Some of the best analogies out there. Okay. So mental peace, separate what you can control and what you cannot. Look, I used to have the Shopify app on my phone. I do not have that shit anymore. I used to have the Facebook Ads Manager on my phone. I do not fucking have that shit anymore. Because, again, I was so obsessed, but not in a good way. I was so obsessed because I was just getting in terrible moods every time that something wasn't fucking working. Right? Like I said, I have gone back and looked at these products that I've tested, and I've seen on multiple occasions, one really, really stands out where I actually legitimately had a winner, and I fucking cut it because I had like 3 bad days in a row. But if I zoomed out, I ran the product for 2 weeks. If I zoomed out, I was actually profitable. So mental peace, fucking check. All right, let's go to the next one. Checkmate, bitch. So now let's actually solve your ads problems, because let's say you're like, cool, Mark, I do the fucking Stoic sparring exercise. I got all the shit that I got to do now. I let go all the nonsense that's outside of my control. Now I got to fucking execute. Cool. Let's talk about that. What do you do if ad no work? Ad no. Why ad no work? Right? The question we've been asking for millennia. Why ad no work? Why ad no work? Well, ad no work. 2 reasons why ad no work. Reason 1. I'm not talking in that fucking voice anymore. Reason 1 is either you have an ads problem. It sounds so fucking obvious, but I promise I'll explain it a little bit better. Either ads problem or a funnel problem, right? And really by ads problem, I mostly mean a creative problem, because we know creatives are 90% of your success when you're running ads. This is fucking hilarious. And it's very easy to diagnose what the real issue is, right? One of my favorite, I guess, mental models, mental frameworks from Hormozy is just the concept of like identifying where the real constraint is. If your business was like a hose, somewhere from the time that you have an impression on an ad to the point where somebody hands over their credit card information and buys something from you, somewhere the hose is fucking bent in half and the water's not flowing. So you have to identify where is the constraint. This is something that I train my immediate buyers on from day fucking 1, to the point where I say this sentence so often that they just get fucking annoyed. But good, I want it like nailed into their brain. And that is, where is the breakdown occurring, right? Where's the constraint? Same thing. Where's the breakdown occurring? And so I'll teach them step by step. Let's begin, kind of did this bass backwards, but let's begin with the ad side, right? Where is the breakdown occurring? Well, the metrics I'm going to be looking at here, there's a few. Number 1, most importantly, is just going to be your CPC, right? Target CPC, if you're running ads in the US, I want to see under $1.50. Max $1.50. Okay. Number 2 is going to be your CTR, your click-through rate. This is just a generally good indicator of how good your creatives are, period. And then finally, not finally, but one of the next is CPMs. So CTR KPI, for those wondering, I typically want to see 3% minimum, absolute fucking minimum. Ideally closer to 4% plus, but it kind of depends. And then lastly, in kind of the big 3 here, you could say, is going to be your CPMs. Now, the important thing I need to say about this is none of these numbers exist in a vacuum. And what I mean by that is they're all interconnected. So the most important one on the ad side is going to be your CPC, because I have seen many instances in which case people are like, Mark, I have a click-through rate of 8%. And I'm like, is that your link click-through rate? And they're like, yes, it is my link click-through rate. And I'm like, well, okay, that's really fucking good. What is your CPC? And they're like, $2. I'm like, huh? That means your CPMs are like $150. So maybe you do have really, really good ads, but Facebook fucking hates them because they're super duper aggressive, or you're selling in a super duper competitive market, or you're using ripped content. Either way, you're getting penalized for it, right? Facebook has 2 kinds of like rejections. They have hard rejections where you get ad account shut down, ads rejected, business manager shut down, page restricted, etc. Those are like hard rejections. Then you have soft rejections, which a lot of times are reflected in high CPMs or generally lower quality traffic. And that one is a bitch because you can't see it at all. Like there's nothing you can really do at that point besides, make ads that Facebook genuinely likes. But a lot of times, you'll have ads that look really, really good. All the ad metrics look good, but nobody's fucking converting. And then what ends up happening is start spending money on ads and you're like, what the fuck? My CPC is healthy. Everything's healthy. And then your conversion rate is like 0.2%. So you're getting all this dog shit quality traffic to your store. If I wanted to add a few to this list, I could add for videos, you could add something like hookers, hook rate. Fucking hell. Sorry. It's after the gym and my hands are kind of shaky. Hook rate. It says hook rate. KPI 50%. Okay. Then the other one is going to be your, you can look at hold rate. Truthfully, I look at that not super often. What I like to look at instead of hook and hold rate oftentimes is cost per 3-second video view. And I want to see a sub 10 cents cost per 3-second video view. And I'll also look at CTR all, depending on the kind of ad that I'm running. But this is all to inform you. You're trying to, back to the question, where's the breakdown occurring? Where's the constraint? If you can identify, it's obviously your CTR. You just need to make better creatives, cunt. Okay? That's what you need to do. If your CPMs are really fucking high, you need to maybe make worse creatives or just tone it down a little bit in terms of how aggressive your claims are, your copy is, etc. And just make ads that Facebook likes. That's a good recipe for having super healthy CPMs. Honestly, that's one of the best pieces of advice I could give anybody for CPMs is just make ads that Facebook really, really likes, that people enjoy engaging with. It's not just like they scroll and then they just get like, bah! They just get a fucking right hook to the fucking chin. And they're like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, don't get me wrong. Your hook rate is going to be good. Your CTR is going to be good. But you just punch them in the fucking mouth, man. Like, Facebook's not going to like that. Okay. Now, the other side, of course, of identifying the constraint, identifying the breakdown is going to be in the funnel. And this depends a lot on the funnel that you're running. But let's say you're running just a standard, PDP. Few things I'm looking at here is going to be number one, where most people fail, is going to be add to cart ratio, your add to cart percentage. So out of 100 people that were to land on your PDP, your landing page, what percentage of those people are going to add the item to the cart? All right, that's number one. Number two is going to be downstream from that, your add to cart to purchase ratio. Fuck. There we go. So this is, of course, Out of the people that add to cart, what percent actually go through and purchase? With your add to cart percentage, my KPI is 10%. Because at that point, I can identify, okay, clearly my lander is doing its job, right? There is congruency from the ad to the lander, and the lander is actually convincing people to not just be interested or curious, but to actually take action and to show some sort of desire before they take the action, right? You guys are probably familiar with this concept, right? The AIDA concept, AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and then action. So if the attention is essentially kind of the ad, and maybe the interest is a little bit of the ad, the desire would be, of course, the job of like the lander for them to actually take the action of adding the item to cart and eventually purchasing. So they should be going along this journey, but a lot of people, they only get people that are interested. They basically stop here, and then their lander is not converting anybody because it's like not good copy. The images are not good. It's not a good user experience. You're not using like standard conversion elements. If you haven't read like anything from Robert Cialdini, just like the foundation, the fundamentals, you're not really getting people to take action. You're not building up the desire, and that's a problem. But you can identify, based off these two, I could go into much more depth here. Like there's a lot of like sub metrics here, but for simplicity purposes, the KPIs 10% and 30% for add to cart percentage and add to cart to purchase ratio. If these two are in check, guaranteed you'll have a healthy conversion rate. Guaranteed. Because conversion rate is essentially like the check engine light on your car. It tells you if things are good, if the check engine light is not on, or if you're driving a BMW, the light is always fucking on, in which case you know that there's actually a problem, but you don't know what the actual problem is yet. So it's like, it doesn't tell you. Like when you have the check engine light, it's not like telling you exactly what's wrong with the fucking car, just telling you to check the engine, you know? It's the same thing with your business. Conversion rate is just like an indicator for you to dive deeper into these sub metrics, right? These ones right here. So basically these, hold on, I know it's not quite clear yet. Hold on. I'm not doing that again. These metrics, right? Simple as that. So the final piece that I have here for you guys, in case my drawings are not clear enough, you know, I think they're pretty clear. But the final piece here is how to actually snap out of ad depression. Because, you know, it affects a lot of entrepreneurs. If you or a loved one that's an entrepreneur has been suffering with ad depression, send them this video. All right, so how do you actually snap out of ad depression? Rule number one, who knows what rule number one is actually? There is a right and wrong answer here. How do you snap out of ad depression? Outside of like the mindset related things, like snapping out of ad depression. But how do you actually get out of this depressive ad period? Somebody type your answers or guesses in the chat and let me see who gets it right first. If you're inside of BBA, I know you know the right answer. All right, we got some people that got it already. I want to see all three words, okay? You can't leave out a word. All three. Tonka got it first. No surprise there. Shout out RIP Tonka. 9741. Great work. You're the first one to get the whole thing step by step. Yes, the correct answer is to run more ads. I mean, that's the correct answer in any scenario ever in the history of the universe. Just run more ads. What I actually mean by this is make better creatives, do more testing, and remove yourself emotionally from poor decision making. Simple. Read your fucking data, right? Go and look. You may not have a lot of things working right now, but you probably have at least one. And so go analyze why that one thing is actually working. Do more of that. Cut out all the other bullshit and fucking spend more money. Run more ads. All right, number 2 is going to be to stop meshing strategies, all right? I think I did a video on this at some point recently. This fucked me up, man. This fucked me up bad when I was starting out. I was like, oh, you know what? There's all these guys on YouTube. I'm going to take this guy's product research strategy. I'm going to take this guy's store strategy. I'm going to take this guy's Facebook ad strategy. I'm going to mesh them all, and I'm going to be a fucking e-com god. The result of that, of course, was 50 products tested and no winners. So can't say it was super effective. The problem is, like, my strategy, my philosophy, it's unique to me. If you want to use it, cool. If not, also cool. There's merit to a lot of different strategies, right? There's not only one way to get to your goal. There's usually a lot of different ways. But just stick to one top to bottom. Stick to one top to bottom and don't get distracted. Don't get shiny object syndrome. Be like, oh, this guy tests this way. Oh, this guy does this way. This guy tries this product. This guy sells this kind of product. This guy rips ads. This guy makes them. Just stick with one person strategy. Number 3 is going to be don't fade the fundamentals. Unfortunately, with dropshipping and the whole space that we're in, you don't really learn the fundamentals. So I suggest you watch my fucking content because I do teach that. But if you ask me back in 2018, hey Mark, what level of awareness are you selling to? What's your market's stage of sophistication? What unique mechanism are you using for your product? Are you channeling mass desire or trying to create it? Are you using VOC in your copy? These are fucking foundational. If you compare professional athletes to amateur athletes, let's say like college basketball players versus NBA players, the skill gap is insane. It's insane. It's just, there are insane levels to this fucking game. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I believe that the pros are so substantially better at the fundamentals. Like, yes, of course, there's like the 10, 20% where they're just way better and just like have a deeper bag per se. But at the same time, they're also just like smarter. They just have better basketball IQ. They are just not fucking stupid with the ball. It's just fundamentals. They're just like so much better at the fundamentals. I remember I used to train, because I used to play basketball back in the day. I used to train with these either like G League or D2, sometimes D1 basketball players when I was in high school. And there would be like professional coaches there a lot of times coaching me and like coaching all the guys there. And I would ask them, I'd be like, what makes these guys so much better? I mean, clearly I could see they're fucking cooking everybody right in front of me. But I was like, what makes these guys so much better? Like they have so many better moves. Like they're just better like at these one dribble mid-range fadeaways, or like what like what is it? And he was like, no, it's none of that. They're just so much better at the fundamentals. Don't fade the fundamentals. If you don't know what the fundamentals are in marketing, read Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. Most of those foundational concepts that I just said are actually in that book. Scientific Advertising, also by Eugene Schwartz, is good. Read everything that you can from Sir Gary Halbert, especially the Gary Halbert letters. Read all of them. Read Ultimate Sales Letter, Dan Kennedy. Read Adweek Copywriting Handbook. Sounds good. Start with those, man. Start with those. But don't go into dropshipping learning marketing from dropshippers. Good rule of thumb there. There's a lesson in there. Yeah, cash advertising is pretty good as well. To me, cash advertising is not like. You're right. Scientific advertising is Claude Hopkins. You're right. Cash advertising is good, but to me, it was a lot of like super tactical stuff, not as much like foundational, if that makes sense. It's like very, very tactile, not tactical, rather, not like philosophical fundamentals, if that makes sense. Anyways, read the fucking shits, okay? And then the final thing that I'm gonna say here is when in doubt, zoom out. I think this is like a trading and crypto term or phrase, but this works so well with e-com, especially if you're in the early stages, because I have a lot of people that are like, Mark, I bet you there's some in the chat right now. Some of you right now that are like, Mark, what happened? You know, I was spending $100 a day. I went from a 3x ROAS to a 0.8 the next day. What happened? Should I cut the product? Should I give up? And to them, I say, yes, give up, because that was fucking retarded. No, I'm kidding. But when in doubt, zoom out, okay? If you're looking at super small ranges of data, Facebook is a platform of a bunch of irrational human beings. You can't expect it to be like the most consistent fucking thing of all time. You just can't. Facebook is just not that platform. Like, if you're spending $100 a day, it's going to be bad. If you're spending $1,000 a day, it'll be a little bit better, but there's still going to be ups and downs. If you're spending $10,000 a day, it's still going to be up and down. It's just going to be not quite as severe. Like, the only thing that really combats inconsistency is just spending a shitload of money. And if you're starting out, obviously you can't do that. So you just got to zoom out and look at larger time frames of data, okay? And every single Monday, I have a call inside of my mentorship program, Brand Builders Academy, where I look at people's data and I see what their ad spend is. I see their ROAS. I see all of these super cool metrics that I can actually give direct, like, one-on-one feedback with people. And lo and behold, almost every single time we identify the root cause of the issue, we break down the numbers, I give them action points, they come back the next week more profitable. So that's what you get when you have that direct feedback, of course. And if you want to apply for Brand Builders Academy, by the way, you can always click the first link in the description, fill out an application. We don't accept everybody, obviously, because we don't want to maintain the quality of the program as much as we can. But if you do want to apply, you can always click that link. Let's open it up real quick, guys, to a Q&A, and then I got to go run more fucking ads myself, okay? The ads manager is calling my name, and that's basically my fucking life. So I got shit to do, man. All right, let's see. Mark, will you ever go back to your talks on psychology, etc., on the BBA calls? Dude, yeah, absolutely. I just think, like, I'm always asking myself, what is the way that I can add the most value to people, whether it's like YouTube videos or, you know, inside of BBA. And if I get that, if I know for a fact, if I can see people's numbers, I have full transparency on their data, I can fix their business extremely quickly. I've just seen it so many times. Like, think about all the times that I've seen that data over the years we've had BBA. Just think about how much shit I've seen. We know exactly what to do. That on top of our coaches, it's fucking insane. We love esoteric Mark. Esoteric Mark and Mark after the gym are two different people. Two completely different people. Is it enough to just read Breakthrough Advertising? I would start with Breakthrough Advertising. Is it enough? It's enough to get started, for sure. But your marketing education should be something that you continually invest in time and time again, over and over again. I still go back and read Gary Halbert letters, old sales letters. I was reading the End of America letter sometime this week, actually. I just reread it. It's one of the best sales letters of all time, man. Um, just got a sale notification while watching this. Very nice, man. I mean, checks out. Let's see. Test products first or build your own brand right away. You can do both. Those aren't mutually exclusive things. You should be testing products, yes, and once you kind of find one that shows really, really good promise right off the bat, then you start the process of building the brand. It doesn't have to be two completely separate things. It's not like, do I dropship or do I do a brand? You can still dropship while building a brand. No problem. Dropshipping is only just a method of fulfillment. That's it. It's nothing more, nothing less. Apple dropships some of their products. Walmart dropships some of their products. Wayfair dropships some of their product. Target. Like, these are massive fucking brands. It's just a method of fulfillment. It's not that deep. Would you recommend .com secrets? .com secrets, in my opinion, is better for info, but it still gives you a pretty good understanding of marketing. Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's a good book. I would put it like not in my top 5, but I think it's a really solid book. I love Russell, man. I've had the privilege of meeting Russell a few times in person, and good dude. Genuinely a good dude in the space. Dropshipping is kind of a stupid term. The term itself is not stupid, but the connotation of the term is incredibly stupid. Because you say dropshipping and people just think of, AliExpress, 30-day shipping times, and 30% refund rates. But that definitely doesn't have to be the case. Like, you can dropship from the US, have fast shipping times, but you still don't have to hold any stock. Like, there's no yeah, it's like, don't stop thinking in this fucking vacuum, man. Like, it's not one dimensional. Open your mind. Be like water. Formless. Hopefully somebody got that. All right, last few questions, y'all. Good morning, Mike. Do you notice AI creatives getting higher CPMs? Thank you. Yeah, man, it's so interesting. I had somebody else reach out to me about this, and I personally don't. I personally don't. And I think my AI creatives are pretty solid. I don't think so. Like, I genuinely believe that I don't think Facebook is or is going to super duper penalize AI content. You know why? Have you gone in the fucking ads manager recently? Have you seen how many AI improvements they're trying to make to your creatives? You know how many fucking settings you have to turn off every time you launch a new ad? All this bullshit. AI, creatives, and copy. That sucks. Dude, this is one of the worst dichotomies of Facebook. It's like, the algorithm is so powerful. You don't need to do targeting. You just have good creatives. Facebook is so smart. They'll find your customers. They're just so smart. You just load in good creatives and fucking let it rip. And then on the other hand, you go inside the ads manager. You look at the AI creatives it's making. You look at the AI copy. Fuck. It's fucking awful. It's terrible, dude. I don't know how we can reconcile those two things, but fuck it. Anyways, that's going to be it, guys, for this live. Thank you so much for being here. This was a fun one. Send this to a fellow entrepreneur in need who's struggling with ad depression, okay? Because, Lord knows they probably need to hear this message. And on that note, oh, my music has been playing this whole time again. On that note, hold on. Oh, hold on. There we go.